Hi, I'm Luke McIntosh from becomeabassist.com, and welcome to video 5 in our intonation series. I hope you're getting a lot out of this. And I remember last video we talked about playing against a major chord, playing against the drone of a major chord, and actually playing hopefully more in tune than that C was right there. Hopefully getting all that. And I hope you've gone through and at least tried a little bit with every one of them. Every one of the major drones. And I like playing E flat. E flat's really fun. Oh. Anyway, that was hopefully we've gone through and found at least 3 different ways to play every one of those chords. But I guarantee you there's going to be way more than that. So hopefully you've gone through and done some of that. But in this video, I want to talk about doing a similar thing, but with a minor chord. So you'll notice underneath this video, once again, there's 12 new drones, all playing minor chords. So instead of having major thirds, they have minor thirds. And just in case you don't know, if we have if C is our root, we go up 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. So instead of E natural for our third, we have E flat, and same with all the other chords as well. So hopefully that's not too it's not too much of a stretch for your mind. But anyway, in this video I want to use a G drone, a G minor drone, and just to break up, just so we're not playing the same ones all the time. But so I want to use that one there, and that way we're starting on our lowest string. We're actually using the lowest note available to us as the root, because there's no the notes in a G minor chord are G, B flat, and D, and there's no B flats or Ds below this G. Do you understand what I mean? So in the last video, when we were using C major, we played our C here, and underneath it there was a G and an E. But if we're using G minor, G is the lowest note we have. And there's nothing below this particular G that's in the chord G minor. Just a triad. I'm not talking about any fancy extensions, any 7ths, any 9ths, any 13ths or anything like that. Just straight triads, just the same three notes. So G, B flat, D, G, B flat, D, and G. So let's try it against the drone. Let's see how many ways we can come up with playing G minor. All right, so there's our drone. So we have our G. For the first time, let's try playing our G up here. Sorry, our B flat. B flat on the A string, open D, open G. That's pretty efficient, right? You're not changing positions at all, and these 2 notes, as long as they're in tune on your bass, are guaranteed to be in tune. There's no room for error. So as long as these 2 notes, these 2 strings are in tune, it's going to be pretty much foolproof. So let's see if we can find another way to play that first octave. How about instead of, the first 2 notes stay the same, how about instead of open D, how about we play the D there on the A string. So shift positions here. So playing D on the A string rather than on the open D. And then let's play, just because we're right here, let's just play the G there. You could, if you wanted to, first 3 and then open G if you wanted, but you jump on an extra string. But it's an option. You have it available to you. Let's try and find another way. Let's try and find from this G, rather than going up to this B flat here, let's try going to this B flat here. Try that. And then we could do either open D here or D on the A string again, and then open G or G on the D string. So you have, instead of, you have same notes, exactly the same notes, just a different way of playing all of them. Let's see if we can find another one. G, B flat, let's go up to the high D up here. D on the E string, That's a lot of shifting. And big shifts too. This one to this one. The other thing you got to think about is the notes on the E string, especially when you get up here, they can be harder to hear, whether you're in tune or not, especially if you've got the drone playing in your ear. That's a bit flat. The good thing about this is if you find that your D is in tune up here, your G will always be in tune because you just have to shift across, just go from here to here. Or if you wanted to be fancier again, open G. So let's for example say, oh, there we go. Let's say you got to this D. Now, see, that was a bit flat. See, you're a bit flat there, tiny little bit. Let's say instead of going to this G, which you know might be out of tune because this one's a little bit out of tune, just go to the open G. So this is where you got to think. You got to think, how many different ways can I play the same thing? Because the whole point of this is to get you comfortable with the whole of the bass, not just do the low ones down here and then just go up the G string, which a lot of people do, and it can work, but how many different ways can you play? Oh, that's a way we haven't talked about yet. G, B flat, D there, and then shift up to the G there, G there. Oh. How about try something else? How about try going up one way and coming down another? So let's go back to our very first one. Try going down a different way. Obviously we have to start on this G because that's the one we ended on. But instead of playing the open D, let's try that one. Just one note difference. Let's try a two note difference. So first two sound the same, and then, oh. Okay, there you go. I was used to having, I was trying to go for the D there and the B flat on the E string, but I was still in the position of my pinky finger being on the D, so that note was a whole half step flat. So I need to fix that. Let's try that again. Still a little bit flat. Just raise the elbow a little bit. Let's try again. Let's try and get the position shift. That's better. And then, because my second finger's there, these two fingers perfectly positioned for that B flat, and then we just drop down to the G. So let's try a full 2 octaves now. So we're going to end up on this G here. Or if you really wanted that G up there. But let's try just for our exercises, let's just try and get up to this high G here. 2 octaves. So let's try it this way. So we're going to shift here, shift to the first finger here, I'll show you why in a second, then we go to this G, and then I shifted to the first finger here because now we're going to go to this B flat, pardon me, up there. So rather than having to shift a whole bunch there, it's a small shift there, so big shift here, small shift here. Or if you really wanted to, smaller shift, bigger shift. Either way, try and end up on the B flat right there on your 4th finger, and that way the D is in the same position. Yeah? And then how are we going to get up to this high G? We could just take a stab and do it harmonically. But let's try and aim for our 3rd finger. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3rd finger. That's getting into kind of a thumb position kind of thing. So let's go. Shift here, and shift here. Shift, shift, Oh, so you come back down a different way there. So rather than coming back down, big shift there, we went G, D, and then no shift in between those notes. And then have to shift there, obviously, because you can't stretch that. Well, at least you wouldn't want to. Maybe you can. If you can, let me know, because I want to see that. Okay, let's try a different one. Let's try G, B flat, D, and then let's play G up here. Oh, that's not a G. And let's try again. That's better. That's a little bit better. And then B flat's in the same position. Now you're going to have to shift here because your first finger's playing that B flat and there's no fingers left to play the D that's either here, or we could potentially go up to this D up here. Let's go up to this D and play it as a harmonic. That way we know it's going to be in tune. I like that one. I'm not sure I've played that one before. Oh, pardon me. Let's work that interval. That's better. From the D down to the B flat. No, it's a little bit sharp. That's better. A little bit flat that time. Hopefully you're seeing the process. You're looking for different ways to play the same material, because it'll help you down in the long run when you find yourself in an awkward position. You're like, how do I get out of this? Rather than just going, stuff it, and then just going back down here. That way you've got different ways to play the same material. Actually, we'll talk about thumb position later. That's a later video. I mean, we'll talk about it. Don't worry. But the process of finding 5, 10 ways to play the same 3 notes over and over again. I mean, you're only limited by your imagination and what you're comfortable with in terms of jumping around or doing all kinds of, not crazy things, but things you probably wouldn't do when you're actually playing. Because if the things that are awkward to do become comfortable in the practice room, then there's no way you'll ever be tripped up on the bandstand. And that way, it's a muscular thing. So you know the distance between a minor third is about there in that position. But in this position, it's a smaller jump than it is down here. So hopefully you start building your muscular memory. And that'll make it, that's what's going to make this process automatic, and you'll be able to play in tune. You won't have to think about it. It'll just be, oh, I played a B there, my bad. Did it again. What am I doing wrong? I was playing the wrong finger. I was playing, I want to play. Okay, let's try that again. So it becomes mostly muscular memory, and then the more you do this, obviously, the better your ear gets, and then you'll be able to correct your mistakes lightning quick, so you won't even notice it. Hopefully you won't even notice it. Well, more importantly, hopefully no one else notices it, because you'll probably always hear your intonation mistakes a lot more than other people, especially when you're listening back to recordings, because you'll just be ultra sensitive to that. But once again, do it with all the drones. Start with whichever one you want. Start with E. And that one's kind of neat. Only one position shift. Which is sweet. And just go up, and some of them are going to be a lot harder than others. I always had trouble with F minor. I'm not sure why. Maybe because there's no open strings. But go through all of them and try and find, it's like I said in the last video, if you just do 2 minutes with each, it'll be 24 minutes. and it's probably the best way to spend some of your practice time, especially earlier in your practice schedule, because that way you set yourself up for having good intonation for the rest of your time that you're practicing. So if you just pick up your bass and just kind of just play a whole bunch of stuff, you'll have a shaky foundation when you go to practice stuff that matters. So fix your foundation first. Super slow. Skipped a note. Super slow, super methodical. And just keep going and keep getting more comfortable. If you're only comfortable with one octave at the moment, if you're only comfortable with that, find all the different ways to play that. Oh. Pardon me. But it's stuff like this that's really going to help you develop as a bass player. It's going to help your technique and intonation like nothing else. So thanks again for watching. Next video we're going to talk about some more goodies, and hope you're enjoying this information as much as I'm enjoying giving it to you. So hopefully I'll talk to you soon, and have a good one. I'm Luke McIntosh from becomeabassist.com.